Hey everybody, this is not really a lesson per se. I wanted to kind of give you a story and I wanted to ask you a question. I get from time to time, particularly when I'm talking to people, they go, oh, I really like watching your videos. I especially like the stories when you can tie a story to a lesson. Or somebody just actually really, they're interested in sort of radio the way it used to be, because it's definitely not that way now. I'm not saying it was better then, although it was definitely more fun probably then. I doubt if it will ever occur in radio again. And I thought, okay, maybe you would like to hear some stories about the way it used to be. I'm going to tell you about my experience at CKLW. In the beginning when I got there, I'm going to kind of take you through maybe the first month. And if you like it and you'd like to hear more stuff like this, hit the like button, or if you don't want to, me to do more, don't hit the don't like button, because, that basically kills the channel on YouTube. Evidently, that's like a brutally bad thing to do. If you guys want more of these, what I was thinking about doing is making another channel, an offshoot of this one, where, this one is still primarily all lessons, but the next one would be all stories, that type of thing. So I'm in Hartford, and I had been there about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Danny Clayton was the PD and he hired me. I had mailed out a bunch of tapes to different stations, big stations, one of them being CKLW, and I'm there about a week and a half in Hartford, and I get called by Frank Brody, who was the PD at the time. We like your tape, we'd like to hire you. And I'm like in shock. The shift is 9 to midnight. Walt Baby Love is leaving to go to WOR-FM in New York, which was awesome and kind of interesting because, years later, I went to New York too, and Walt was there, and I got to be friends with Walt. Great guy, awesome guy. Anyway, so I have to go in to Dan and say, I'm sorry, Dan, but I got to quit because I just got a job offer in Detroit. And he was totally understanding and like, oh, okay, great. I totally get it. But he's probably, he probably wasn't super thrilled because the morning guy at CKLW also came from WPOP, Bill Winters. I quit and I drive up. So here I am. I'm now this kid. I think at the time I was maybe 20 or 21, somewhere in there. And I drive to Detroit. And for me, it's a really big deal. I was rooming with a guy who also worked at the station, and I was sleeping on the floor. We had the only furniture in the place was his bed, and that was it. So I was sleeping on the rug in the living room. Okay, but you're young, who cares? So I drive to Detroit and I cross over at the Detroit-Windsor border. And, and I go over, and for me, I'm a kid, and I had never been out of the country. It was really weird for me. I don't actually think at the time I even had a passport. You could just show your driver's license. Different time, everything was a little bit more open. And I got my 1-year work visa. And I drive to the radio station, and this is what the radio station looked like, because it was an AM, FM, and a TV station. It's now a CBC television facility, but at the time, this is a big building, but what really caught my eye was, wow, look at that view of Detroit across the river, because you're right on the river staring at the downtown. It was super picturesque, especially when you walk in at night. And walking in to do that first show, and it's nighttime and the entire downtown city is lit up, and that's what you're looking at. It was amazing. It was, talk about something that pumps you up before you go do the show. So anyway, I walk in and I sit in the lobby, and the PD secretary was named Eleanor, and she comes out and she comes, oh, come on, let me bring you into the PD. So I walk in and I get sit down in the PD's room, and there's a guy there, and I'm assuming it's Frank. I don't know what he looks like. So, hi, Frank. Hi. So my name's not Frank. My name is Alden Deal. I'm the PD. And it's like, what? And then he goes, who are you? And I go, I'm Pat Holliday. I'm your new jock. I got hired by Frank Brody. Where's Frank? He didn't like being a PD. He just wanted to be a jock again. He's still here. He's great. So tell me about you. And I'm thinking, oh man, I got a new PD who didn't hire me. I'm probably going to get fired immediately. And here's the big thing at the time. When I drove over, I probably had, maybe $60, $70 in my pocket. That's it. I got nothing else. You know, I had just driven 1,000 miles, crossed over into another country, and I have no money. And it's like, maybe I don't even have a job here. Oh man, I just quit the job that I had. This is going to be great. Anyway, I get along with Alden just fine. He's a really nice guy, and no problem. And 9 to midnight. So I do a couple all-night shows because they made you do the all-night show to break in. But let me jump back. I come out of the office with Alden after I have been hired. Eleanor gives me a bunch of papers. You know, I fill them all out, and then she goes, let me take you to the back where the control room is. So she takes me all the way back into the bowels of this huge building. And she shows me a little bit about TV, opening some of the doors, TV studios and stuff, control rooms. And then she comes around to where the jock room was for CKLW, for the Big A. And she opens the door, and there's a huge curtain there. The whole thing was in a curtain. The curtain was like a U. The only part that's open is the glass to the operator in the other room. So you're kind of almost like you're walking into a monster-sized shower. So you grab the shower curtain. It was like this really funky green burlap. And the room had a smell to it, but you could still smoke in the room at the time. Anyway, so she pulls it back, and I forget who was there. It might have been actually Frank. He might have been on the air, the guy who hired me, and introduces me. You know, he shows me a little bit of the room. He goes, yeah, you'll be right here. And, I'll explain that in some other video because that was kind of cool. You know, I close it up, and I went back, and we come back around, and right next to that is a little room, and there's like mailboxes. And she goes, this is your mailbox. And inside the mailbox there's a couple memos, and that all the jocks had got, and there's an envelope. And I go, wow, this is cool. I got mail already. I pick up the envelope, and it's from Motown. And I open it after she's gone. I open it up, and literally it is an invitation to Stevie Wonder's wedding from Motown. So I've been in the country, I don't know, maybe at this point, maybe 4 hours, and I've got an invitation to go to Stevie Wonder's wedding. He married Syreeta. At that point, it's like an agonizing thing for the next bunch of days because his wedding was coming up pretty quickly. And it wasn't until like the reception, it was to the church, okay, just to make, but still, you have an invitation to the church. I mean, the entire Motown troupe and stars from around the world are going to be at this church, seeing Stevie get married. And I could go. How cool is that? But ultimately, I didn't go, and I'll tell you why I didn't go. One, I wanted to go, but I didn't have enough money to buy a suit, and I didn't have a suit, and I thought I needed a suit for the wedding because everybody would dress up then. I didn't want to go and be in the midst of all these stars and stuff. I didn't have enough money to buy a suit. So that's the start of it all. And so I did the 9 to midnight show for 2 days. And then the afternoon drive guy, he seemed to kind of go off the deep end, and he got himself fired. And Alden says, hey, I want you to do afternoon drive. So I go from being this nighttime guy, just prior to that, in this tiny little town of like 25,000. And, roughly eight months later, I'm doing afternoon drive at one of the biggest radio stations in North America. And, and it's just circumstance, it just sort of kept happening. The one last thing about this, which happened, within this first month, was about, maybe 3 weeks into this, Eleanor comes up and she goes, hey, we need you to do this. Chuck Williams was the guy who, in Afternoon Drive, who blew himself up. Chuck was going to do this, and now they're asking us to send somebody else over. You're the Afternoon Drive guy. We'd like you to do this. I go, well, what is it? We'd like you to be a judge on the Miss Universe pageant. Miss Universe, Michigan. And I was like, okay. But now I've been paid at least once, so I got enough money to actually buy something nice. I didn't buy a suit, but I bought something, that looked pretty decent so I could be a judge. I go to this thing, and I'm there, and there's 5 people on the jury, so to speak, that are judging, these women. And I mean, looking back, it was like super probably sexist, because it was all about how they looked, which was probably awful for the women. I vaguely remember a talent thing, but that was like a minuscule part of this. Anyway, there was 5 people. Okay, 5 judges. I'm sitting there, and when you start, talking about the judging, and they're handing out the sheets, and they're explaining a little bit how to judge and the numbering system and things like that. And we're kind of laughing about it. And I turn to the guy next to me who I don't know, and then there's a guy next to me here I don't know. This guy's kind of older but younger, and this guy's an old guy. And we get talking, and you say, so what do you do? Well, I'm in CKLW. I'm one of the jocks. Oh, that should be pretty cool. What do you do? And so he says, well, I'm in sports. I go, oh, are you like a coach, or like a high school coach or college coach or something like that? He goes, no, I'm a player. I play football. Oh, okay. Would I know the team? He goes, yeah, the Detroit Lions. I'm the quarterback. My name's Gary Danielson. I'm sitting next to the quarterback of the Lions, and I have no idea who he is. And I was like, oh man, wait, it gets worse. So I then, a little while later, I'm talking to the guy on this side of me, the old guy, and it's just sort of the same conversation. What do you do? I'm on the air. Oh, that should be nice. Is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. What do you do? Well, I'm a coach. Oh, I'm thinking, okay, finally. Okay, good. So are you're not in football like him, are you? He goes, no, I coach hockey. Really? Yeah? And so like college, at University of Michigan, University of Detroit, something. He goes, no, I'm the coach of the Red Wings. I'm Ned Harkness. I'm the coach of the Detroit Red Wings. I have no idea who he is. So, I'm sitting like, okay, let me just shrink down in this seat. But they were both laughing about it. They didn't care. I said, I'm sorry, man. I just got here. Radio has been my life. I've kind of been in a vacuum trying to get ahead. And they both like, no, I totally get it. You got to be consumed by what you want to do. I said, okay, cool. So anyway, we had fun, and, we judged everything, and, and that was it, and that was over. So that was roughly my first month at the big time. And there's a million stories like that. And I was thinking about doing another channel of just this type of stuff. If you have any interest in that, hit the like sign. If you don't hit anything, okay? Anyway, I hope you like the stories, and let me know if you want to hear more of these, okay? Till then, see ya!